Hi, everybody. Yesterday, we talked about just the basics of parabolas, and this is what it was. And so there are a couple things that I just wanted to review with you that are really important. And the things that are most important are, how do I know if it's vertical, up or down? And how do I know if it's horizontal? And that is denoted by the equation. If it's an x squared, then it's the same type of parabola that we learned in Algebra 1, which means it's going to open up or down. If it has a y squared with it, that means it's going to be opposite and it's going to open side to side, left or right. Okay? So this piece of paper I think is really important for you to have handy when we're doing notes today. And I'm going to keep referring back to these pieces of information. So having this paper would be smart. I realize actually that your notes that we're going to take today are on the back side. So here's what we need to do. All right. So here's some notes for me to write. If it's vertical, vert, right? Let's just get all that we can down. If it's vertical, then that means that my axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 0. My focus is going to be 0 comma p, and my directrix is going to be y equals negative p. Okay, if it's horizontal, then that means that my axis of symmetry is going to be, and maybe something that will help you. Horizontal means that it has a y squared. Vertical means that it has an x squared. I don't know if that will help you. So I'm going to include that. My axis of symmetry is going to be y equals 0. My focus is going to be p comma 0. And I'm going to slide over just a little bit. My directrix is going to be x equals negative p. Okay. So with these pieces of information, I can then fill in my key features over there on the right. All right. So something else I want to talk to you about. When I first look at an equation, I can tell where the vertex is. And the way that I can tell where the vertex is because I'd be wanting to see, is there an h or is there a k? And right now on number 1, there is no x minus h and there is no y minus k. So I'm going to do first off, I know that this is vertical because this is an x squared. Okay, this x squared gives it away. Now, they gave me a negative 8. And the reason they gave me a negative 8 is because I'm supposed to find p. All right? Here is the formula when the vertex is at 0, 0. X squared equals 4p times y. Okay? So that means that negative 8 that they gave me would be the same as the 4p. Because look, the x squared is the same, the y is the same, but the negative 8 and the 4p is going to be the way that I'm able to find p. P, again, is like the distance, remember, from the vertex to the focus, and then the distance from the vertex to the directrix. Okay, the p is like the middle dot, or the spacing that tells you how far from the middle dot to go. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that negative 8, this negative 8 is 4p. And since negative 8 is 4p, then I solve, and I get that p is negative 2. So now with graphing, I knew that my vertex was at 0, 0. So you're going to make a point at 0, 0. Now the only other difference is this up or down? Well, this negative 8 is kind of like my giveaway of whether it's up or down. So this is going to be a negative, so this is going to be down. And that means that my vertex, let's fill in what we know. My vertex is 0, 0. My axis of symmetry when I have a vertical is always x equals 0. My focus is 0 comma p. So p is -2. So it's going to be 0, -2. And my directrix is y equals -p. Y equals -2. So y equals 2. Now with these pieces of information, I can now graph. I have got a vertex of 0, 0. I know that it's going to go downward. This 2 here tells me that there's 2 spaces for one of my pieces of information, and there's 2 spaces for another piece of my information. So I'm going to put 2 dots right there. But remember, since it goes downward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to draw a parabola that goes downward, right? And this is my focus, right? Because that's the dot, the point that's in the curve. And then you know, perhaps I need some colors here to make it a little bit darker. My directrix is this line right here. Okay. So I don't even know if you can see that. I guess that's probably a bad choice. Okay. Now, let's move on. Y squared. Oh, look at the top of your paper. Y squared equals what? Oh, it means horizontal. Okay. There is no h and k. There's no y minus k. There's no x minus h, which means that my vertex is going to be at 0, 0. And your job is to find p. The formula when my vertex is at 0, 0 is y squared equals 4 times p times x. Well, check this out. 6 is in my 4p spot, right? So that means that those boxes are going to be set equal to each other. 6 equals 4p. Let me change something on the lighting. I don't know if that's be better. We'll see. Okay. Anyways, p equals 6 over 4. What's 6 over 4? 3/2, which, by the way, is easier to write 1.5 because that's how much spacing we need to move. Okay, is this horizontal? That means left or right. Is it going to open left or right? Well, left would be negative. This is a positive 6, so it's going to be facing to the right. Okay? All right, next. I know that my vertex is at 0, 0. Let's do purple. Okay, so my vertex is at 0, 0. Then my axis of symmetry. Look up here at the top of the paper. Y equals 0. My focus is going to be the p value, comma 0. 3/2. You can also do 1.5, comma 0. And my directrix is going to be that x is equal to the negative value of my p, when my negative value of p is 3/2. So I'm going to put negative 3/2. Okay? So now, the shape of it. All right. It faces to the right, which means that my focus is 1.5, comma 0. So I'm going to go 1.5, comma 0 right there. Let me really get in there. Sorry, guys. Did you see the rest of this right here? Okay. 1.5, comma 0. That's my focus. My curve then comes like this. And I'm not too worried about the curve. It's always a pretty wide curve. It's never, we're not going to be doing many narrow parabolas. Now my directrix, x equals negative 3/2. That's along my x-axis, negative 3/2 would be right there. I'm not asking you to draw the axis of symmetry, but remember an axis of symmetry would cut my parabola in half if I had to fold it in half. So that's what I would get for my axis of symmetry. All right, now I have an HK for numbers 3 and 4. So that's good. So here's the formula that I need. Y minus K squared equals 4P x minus H. Okay, my vertex is what? HK. HK. H is opposite signs, remember? Positive 3, positive 2. So that means that I could just plot that now if I wanted to. Just kind of keep that in the side of my brain, that's my vertex. Okay, so everything looks the same. This is the value of K. This is the value of H. Here it is. And I'll box it again because that's what I've been doing and I think that works. Negative 4 equals 4P. I'm solving for P still. So I'm going to do that P is negative 1. And it's a negative. And this was a negative 4. So it's going to be opening, this is the vertex. Is it horizontal or vertical? The y is the one that has the exponent of 2. So since y is squared, that means that it's going to be horizontal. And the negative sign that I was talking about just a second ago means that it's going to be opening left. So I'm going to have this shape here that's just an average parabola, nothing too skinny, just the shape of it's fine. Now, the focus. Okay, here we go. If I were to draw an axis of symmetry and cut this parabola in half, it would have to go through the vertex. My axis of symmetry is y equals 2. Now, I told you, remember that the P was negative 1. That means that it's one space from the vertex. So here and here are the points where my focus and directrix is going to be. Okay, let me focus that. Since it's facing to the left, I know that the inner point is my focus. That ordered pair is 2, 2. So I'm going to write 2, 2 for my focus. And my directrix is this here. On the opposing side, same distance, P is my distance away. So my directrix line is going to be at x equals 1, 2, 3, 4. X equals 4. Okay, so there is number 3, in case you needed to look at it again. Sorry. All right, last one, guys. Okay, so an x squared means what? Look at the top of your paper. What does x squared mean? Horizontal or vertical? I hope you said vertical. Okay, here we go. The format is x minus h squared equals 4p y minus k. So I need to find p. My vertex is what? HK. HK. Opposite signs. So this is going to become a negative 1, and this is going to become a negative 2. All right, so my vertex is negative 1, negative 2. I can just put that down now because I know it. All right, so then I have to do my P. Well, look, 14 and 4P. Those are the pieces of information that I still need. I know H, I know K, I don't know P. So 14 equals 4P. 14 over 4. 7 halves. Well, again, I mean, 7 halves. So that's 3.5. That means I'm going to have to move 3.5 spaces away from my vertex vertically to get my focus and my directrix. Okay, so now plot your vertex, please. -1, -2. Then I know that it opens, up or down. Is it positive or negative? I hope you said it's positive, and I really hope that you're talking to yourself because I'm talking to myself, and I'm just so cool because I talk to myself. So from my vertex, I need to go 3.5 spaces in either direction. The inner point is going to be my focus. So go up 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. Okay, my focus ordered pair is -1, 1.5. If you like 1.5, if you like instead of 1.5 putting 3 halves, you can. That's fine. Okay. Since we're on it, thinking about it, my directrix is going to go the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3.5. That ordered pair is at right? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5.5. We write it as, okay. 5 and 1 over 2 is fine. Also, that's fine. Lastly, axis of symmetry. My axis of symmetry, if I were to fold my parabola in half, where would that line be? And that line is going to be right down the middle, and that is a x equals -1 line. Okay? So what you have for homework tonight is you have a worksheet that I posted along with this blank worksheet and the YouTube video that you can watch. And so you'll do your homework tonight by 8 p.m. And you need to, in order for me to see it, since it's a hard copy, I need you to actually take a photo of it and then submit it privately. I don't want you to take a photo and submit it out for everybody because then somebody's just going to copy off you and that's just going to happen. So you could submit a private comment with the photo or something to that effect, but I need to see the work. Okay, and I need to see the graph, and I need to see how did you find P, and how did you know, and I need to see your dotted line for your directrix. So this is all the things that I need to see for your homework tonight. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.